Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not worry about the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, next week we are going to be having a full moon in Aries. And tonight's show, if you've been looking on our website, starborninstitute.org, it's titled Judgment Day. And that is because it is the precursor to that full moon next week in Aries. So why could we be thinking about a judgment day coming right up? It is because there are 5 planets in the cardinal signs, and they're all harshly opposing or squaring each other. And the 4 cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, are being adversely affected by the planet's position in those signs. And that is because the cardinal signs represent vice and virtue. They represent people who see things as black and white, no shades of gray at all. And so a lot of people can be having their own opinions. And it begins with the fact that there are extremely strong planets conjuncting each other, and that magnifies their strength. And that is because the Sun and Venus are in Libra, the sign of love and partnership, compromise, negotiation, diplomacy, the law, and contracts. Well, Venus is the ruler of Libra, and it is an air sign ruling peace, harmony, and balance as well. So with Venus there conjuncting the Sun, it simply means that both of those planets' strength is magnified, and those 2 planets are opposing or are squaring the Moon and Pluto in Capricorn. The Moon and Pluto are conjuncting each other, and Pluto is a planet of truth and power, and the Moon rules our feelings and women. So what we have among those 2 signs is that the Sun in Libra is square the Moon in Capricorn, and Venus in Libra is square the Moon and Pluto in Capricorn. When the Sun and the Moon square or oppose each other, it is an indication of indecision or confusion. So a judgment day can be coming, but it may not be today or tomorrow, because people may not have all the facts yet. And the reason why a judgment day is coming is because there can be so much stress or tension in a relationship or in a situation that the pressure is really reaching a height where it cannot be sustained, and something's going to be happening. And that is because the love planet, Venus, along with the Sun in Libra, is being harshly opposed by Uranus, the other love planet, which is in Aries, the sign of new beginnings. Uranus is retrograde, so it's a little bit weaker, but it is part of a grand trine in fire signs. It is well fortified. Jupiter in Leo is trining it, and so is Mars in Sagittarius. So the love planets are at odds with each other, and that means that people can perhaps be having a lot of tension and stress in their relationships. And since the Moon and Pluto in Capricorn are also squaring that Uranus in Aries, and Aries rules new beginnings, I think there is the possibility that a new beginning is much closer to the end than anyone realizes, because somebody who represents an authority figure, that would be denoted by the Moon and Pluto in Capricorn, is probably going to make some sort of judgment based on facts and on reality and on details. And when that judgment comes down from an authority figure who may be a person in management, or who may be somebody who is part of a large body or group of people in a corporation or a government agency, as soon as a judgment is made, then I think that somebody is going to have to end something, or something will be ended. And it will be something that is related to a new beginning that is a lot closer to an end than anybody really realizes. So, although there can be people around who are strident, or who can be a little pushy right now, or who can really want to voice their opinions quite loudly and in fact be embroiled in some sort of war of words right now, no matter how much noise they're making, they will not be able to deter someone else who is in a position of authority has a lot of experience and maturity. They could be an older person, or they could be a group that is extremely well respected and established. And no matter how many other voices or how much commotion is going on or how stridently somebody wants to press their point, they will not be able to cover up the facts right now, and that is why somebody else is going to be able to make a judgment soon. And that may not be today or tomorrow, but it is going to be coming up. And so I would advise you and all of us right now to keep your own counsel. In other words, do your own thinking. Think for yourself and weigh your values. This may not be a good time to say too much right now. And besides, there's a lot of other people that have opinions, so you might not be heard anyway. But this is a good time to remind yourself that peace and harmony are what we are looking for. Remember that Venus in Libra is very, very strong right now, particularly since it's conjuncting the Sun. And so that can be something that can be the fallout when a judgment is made soon. It will bring peace of one sort or another, or it will create an ending to a new beginning. And the reason why there can be an ending coming up of a new beginning is because no one likes it. And that is, you know, these two love planets are opposing each other. That is why it will be over. It's going to take someone in authority to end it, though. And I think that that will be based, a judgment will be based on good facts and on reliable information or evidence that can be verified. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that, remember, the full moon is in your sign next week, so there is going to be an awful lot of light on you in one more week, Aries. And so there is pressure right now, either that you are putting on someone else, or it can be that there is some sort of discord going on somewhere in your life, because remember, the Sun and Venus in Libra are opposing Uranus in your sign, and they are very strong because they're conjuncting each other, and the Moon and Pluto are squaring each other, and they are also conjuncting each other, so they are very powerful. And even though Uranus in your sign is part of a grand trine in fire signs, I think that you are being so challenged right now, Aries, that I would suggest that you consider making a change, or consider moving on, or consider perhaps backing down on something right now, because I think that sooner or later there can be a judgment about something that you're involved in. It can be that something that had passed you by once is going to become available for you again, and you would be wise to take it. Or it can be, if you're in some sort of legal negotiation or legal dilemma, that the final judgment would go against you. And that is because somebody can be basing their judgment just on the facts. It doesn't mean you're not popular, Aries. It can mean, though, that some performance issue or some sort of record may not quite jibe with the facts right now. And so if you're thinking of moving on, I would if I were you, Aries. With that grand trine in fire signs, you just have a lot of energy, and your sign is well fortified because of it, but it is also being sorely challenged right now. And I think under the light of the full moon next week in your sign, perhaps something will be revealed that you may not like everyone to know about, and that is why you might consider moving on, because you would be successful at that. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time that you can be contemplating some sort of change behind the scenes, and it's not going to be a secret for too much longer, Taurus, because next week that full moon in Aries will be right behind your sun sign, so there'll be a lot of light in the background of your life. But for right now, with the moon and Pluto conjuncting each other strongly in Capricorn and trining your sun, Taurus, it simply means that when a judgment is made, and it is coming up, it could tend to benefit you. It could have something to do with your long-term retirement, and it could be some policy that changes, but it could be a change that would be somewhat in your favor, Taurus. Or there is the possibility that there can be a judgment that reflects a health policy, and that too could turn out to be in your favor. So I think you're going to benefit from a judgment. I don't think the judgment will be about you, Taurus. I think it'll be about some other situation or some person, but not you. However, I think you're going to be happy about that outcome. I think it'll bring you some sort of relief, and financially, I think that sooner or later it will benefit you. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, it is very fortunate for you that that Sun and Venus in Libra are conjuncting each other. That means they're awfully strong, and they are trining your sun sign and the Aquarian sun, because that could bring a delightful partner to you. Or it could simply mean that if you're in a legal negotiation, it's looking like the outcome will be favorable for you. Or if there is a contract that is being negotiated at this time, the terms would be extremely fair, and you shouldn't nitpick, Gemini. You should just go right ahead and accept something, because at the very least, an extremely nice person that would be compatible with you is coming into your life. Maybe they're already there, but that is a friendship that could really blossom and make you happy. Also, if you're planning any kind of a short trip, or you're planning to redecorate or redo something, that would all go very well too, which is good, because then that would get your mind on balance and harmony and art and peace, and that's a good place for you to concentrate, Gemini, because Mars in Sagittarius is strongly opposing your sun sign, and that simply means that you need to stay away from people who are very flamboyant or argumentative right now, or you need to keep real quiet if there are legal problems around. I don't think they're your legal problems, but my advice is don't get involved in somebody else's lawsuit right now. You would really regret it, Gemini. So you have to stay away from things coming at you too quickly, or people that are too strident. They're not going to do you any good no matter what. So I'd keep my mind on very pleasant people who are somewhat charming and probably good looking, and they just want to have peace right now. That's what you should go for. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that you need to go home and close the door. And the reason why is I don't think you can please everybody right now, Cancer. And you're a person that does like to see everybody happy or feeling well. But I think with the 5 planets in cardinal signs that are so harshly aspecting each other, and because yours is a cardinal sign, I just don't think you can please everybody. Now, there is a trine in water signs. Saturn in Scorpio is trining your sun, and so is Neptune in Pisces. At the base of your life, you are very secure and you don't have anything to worry about. And financially, you probably are able to draw on some funds, or you probably do own some things that are going to last a long time. So that's great. So you're not threatened in that way. The base of your life is just fine, and it's solid, Cancer. But Venus and the Sun in Libra are squaring your Sun, which means that someone else wants to do things in a fair and balanced way, and you may not quite agree with that, or else there can be a contract that you don't agree with or that is no longer offered. There could be a change in a contract. And Uranus in Aries, which is sort of taking a beating right now, even though it's in a grand trine in fire signs, that too is squaring your Sun, and that simply means that there could be some sort of fast change or breakaway or a new beginning that suddenly ends, particularly after a judgment is made about it. And so that can be somewhat disconcerting for you if you're involved in it. And then the Moon and Pluto, and the Moon is your own ruler, in Capricorn are opposing your sun sign, which means when the judgment is made, it may not be in your favor, or else it may not take your tender feelings into consideration. What can you do, Cancer? I would just go home and close the door and stay out of whatever is going on around you right now. And the reason why is that I don't think you have enough authority to really influence the outcome. So if I were you, I'd try to ignore that and simply stick with your home and your family, which is what is really important to you anyway. And don't pay attention to anything else right now, and don't get involved in it either. Just lay low, Cancer. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, This is simply a time with Uranus in Aries trining your sun and Mars in Sagittarius also trining your sun, when you can be optimistic about a lot of things, particularly traveling or higher education or being involved in big issues or even religious or philosophical issues or something that has to do with the international community. Okay, so all of that is going on, and it can look very favorable to you since Jupiter is in your sign. And the whole year that Jupiter's in your sign, you're always going to be seeing the glass as half full, which is great. However, not everyone is on your wavelength, and there can be people that are pressing you or taking advantage of your good nature right now, and that is why you need to be a little bit more careful and think about safety first. Leo, and that is because Mars in Sagittarius represents trouble abroad, or it can be even war, certainly in the Middle East, which is ruled by Sagittarius. So you need to make sure that you are not in the company of people who are a little overexcited right now or who are too strident, because there can be a war of words, and anyone involved in a war of words isn't going to win. In fact, the judgment could go against them if they're involved in that. So you need to pick and choose your friends very wisely right now, Leo, and remember, safety first is what you have to be conscious of for until the end of October, when Mars finally leaves Sagittarius. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think that you greatly benefit when a judgment is made. The reason why is because you might have been one of the people that was furnishing facts or evidence or information, or you could have a very good performance record and it can be verified. And so because of that, because of your reliability and your steadiness, and the fact that the moon and Pluto in Capricorn are trining your sun, when a judgment is made by an authority figure or someone who is very experienced and has a good track record, when they finally make a decision about something, I think that it will benefit you and the sign of Taurus. Okay, so what do the earth signs rule? They rule work, and they rule practical reality and problem solving. So I think you are helping, or you are going to be able to help someone else make a sound judgment. And when they do that, they could be relying on you to sort of keep backing them up. So there can be an additional benefit down the road when that happens, Virgo. Just hang in there right now and keep doing good work, because I think you're about to be rewarded for that or recognized. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, yours is a cardinal sign. And yes, you have the sun and Venus, your ruler, in your sun sign right now, Libra. It must feel wonderful. And that is because for the first 7 months of this year, you had Mars in your sun sign. And that didn't feel too good, did it, Libra? But now you have a wonderful, peaceful, and loving planet conjuncting the sun, which is the giver of life, and you can almost be feeling as if you've got your second wind, or you've got a better chance at something now, or you can be looking forward to more success this fall, and you really can, Libra. And so it's quite fortunate that you are wanting to go forward, because if you should run into some stressful situation or a relationship that is not working out right now, because Uranus, the other love planet, is opposing your sun, or you can be undecided, or management can be undecided right now about something because the moon and Pluto in Capricorn are also squaring your sun, I would say stay the course, Libra, and keep having faith that things will work out and that you are doing your best. And I think that they will, because when a judgment comes down, it will be based on factual information and a sense of fairness. Anybody who's involved in a war of words or who is trying to sort of put one over on somebody is not going to make it. And I don't think that's you, Libra, but somebody else may have been rather tantalizing and sort of tormenting you, or wanting to do their thing in a way that doesn't make any sense whatsoever to anybody else, and that could have been harming your sense of tranquility lately, and that can be ending soon for you. So I think you benefit no matter what happens right now, Libra, and you are very popular. Everybody likes you, Libra, so I think you've got a lot to look forward to. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, You are much stronger than people realize, and that's because you've had Saturn in your sun sign for 2 years, and it isn't leaving until Christmas Eve, and then it will go into Sagittarius in 2015 and briefly come back into your sign. So it is nearing the end of its stay, but it's not there yet. And in these 2 years that it's been in your sun sign, you have had to endure some setbacks or some failures or some disappointments and certainly some delays, and they have all made you stronger in one way or another. They have hardened you in some way or toughened you up a little bit so that you really can face reality. And you know, you could get through anything right now, Scorpio. So it would be very unwise for anyone to have a war of words with you, and I don't think they're going to, but it would astound people how strong you have become in the last few years. And so this is a time when I would advise you to step back. And the reason why is no one is trying to attack you, Scorpio, with Saturn in your sign. Nothing's going to knock you over anyway, but why should you get involved in the clamor and the noise and the pressure and the stress and dissension of other people who refuse to consider anyone else's viewpoint? You may as well just sort of stand on your strengths right now and keep trying to make a dream come true, because Neptune in Pisces is trining your sun. So you can do that. And this can be a time when you are realizing that no matter what has beset you, and even if there has been some depression in your life, you haven't been stopped by anything, Scorpio. You are still going to make it no matter what. And in fact, you can be on the verge of really taking a pretty big step up. It might surprise you, and that's because something that's beginning is closer to the end than anyone realizes. And when that whole mess is cleared up, then you're going to be able to take a step forward very clearly. But for right now, I would just lay low and keep quiet. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, when a judgment day comes, which is on the horizon, you could really be affected by that. And that is because you've got Mars in your sign, Sagittarius. And yes, it's trined by Uranus in Aries and also trined by Jupiter in Leo, which can really fire you up. But Mars is a destructive planet. It's not a love planet, Sagittarius. And the problem is that other people do want to have peace right now, because the opposite of peace is war. And they do want to have love because the opposite is hate. And people really don't thrive on that. And so you need to stay out of a war of words, Sagittarius, but I think you may be involved in a war of words. Or there can be some strident viewpoint that you have that you think that other people should acquiesce or agree to. And I would say that you might be letting yourself down right now, Sagittarius. Try not to overstep your boundaries in any way, because you could get yourself in trouble right now, and that could be because of your fervor. And you know, you can't really count on a new beginning right now. Nobody can, and that is because Uranus is retrograde and sorely challenged right now in Aries, which is the sign of new beginnings. So something's going to be over before anybody realizes it, and it's because no one likes it. And so you do not want to, choose your friends wisely, Sagittarius, because you don't want to be on the wrong side of something when it fails. And you could be. That's why I think you should exercise discretion right now, if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is simply a time when I think you will come to a final judgment or a decision based on facts, which could have something to do with your health or with some sort of employment matter. And when that happens, when you come to some sort of decision, I think it'll be the right one. But it may involve a beginning that there could be something wrong with, and you may decide to end it. And there's nothing wrong with that, Capricorn, because you have long-term goals in mind, which you really can meet. You have a voice of authority. I would say that if there's any indecision or confusion, I would just sort of sit on something right now, because the answers will come to you. And you may not win everything right now, Capricorn, and that's why it might pay you just to be a little bit quiet right now and wait and see what happens as you calmly decide some sort of judgment which should be in favor of your interests, not anyone else's. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a wonderful time for you because somebody wonderful is headed your way, Aquarius, and that's because the Sun and Venus in Libra are trining your sun sign, and they are conjunct and very powerful. So what I think that means, Aquarius, is that there can be a rather favorable and generous contract coming your way. Or if you're involved in a legal settlement, it could be a good one. It could benefit you, and it could still be generous. And so I think, if nothing else, somebody very nice is headed your way, and they could be generous. So I don't see how you can lose right now, Aquarius. Just stay out of a war of words right now, and let your charm work for you, because I think it will, and it can draw very nice people to you that can be that can make you happy. There could even be a love interest, Aquarius. So, you know, I hope you are at your charming best this week, because I think it's going to do you a lot of good. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you need to lay low too. I think all the water signs need to. And the reason why is that those planets that are in cardinal signs, such as Uranus in Aries, which is right ahead of your sun sign, are being stirred up, and they are being harshly aspected right now. And, you know, it doesn't involve you. Whatever the war of words or whatever the contention is or the stress, it doesn't involve you, Pisces. And that reason why is you're not causing it. And so you should step back. You should not partake. You shouldn't take sides in anything. And the reason why is that Mars in Sagittarius is squaring your sun. That's a dangerous aspect because Mars is a dangerous planet. And so you do not want to make yourself a target for anyone else's anger or stress or pressure, and that's why you need to lay low. One, because you're not causing it, but two, if you decided to sort of take sides with somebody and it was the wrong side, you could really regret that. And that is because in your empathy and sympathy for someone, you may want to try to calm them down, and instead they could lash out and hurt you. And that is why you need to step back and try to say nothing this week, Pisces. Just whatever's happening, let it ride, and try to just concentrate on your own dreams if you can. But try not to do too much good for people who are causing harm, because that harm could afflict you instead, and that wouldn't be good. You'd get hurt. And that's why you should lay low. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.